chances are you are not going to be in competition with most of the people who have been laid off.
Yeah.
Because most of them are highly experienced and you are not going to be in a competition.
All right, so what's up, everybody? Welcome back to this episode of the Comrades podcast. And with me here, I have Rodney Boachie, the famous
Yes, sir.
enterprise
Yes,
backend
sir.
engineer. Yeah.
Basically, I've been doing this for quite a while now. It's been over 8 years now, and I've loved the experience, the highs, the lows. I mean, it's all a good experience.
Oh yeah, the last time I engaged you on my other channel where we were talking about negotiating tech salaries and getting the best out of a deal. You dropped some very cool nuggets, and it's actually nice to have you here today to talk about the current situation in the tech space. That's the massive layoffs, and you can see it's happening. It's hitting very close to home.
It's wild.
So yeah, we are coming to discuss how that affects us as engineers. And
how would I put it? It's very turbulent and
it's chaotic.
Charlie bloody everywhere. I mean, in just 1 week,
Yeah,
Twitter alone fired. I think they were doing 35% layoffs, and then Meta 2 just came in, and then 11,000 people.
Yeah, that's huge.
Just gone, just
That's
like
huge.
that. Yeah, so I mean, it's very bloody. So it's understandable that people are also worried, especially for those who are transitioning into the tech space.
Exactly.
Yes, they have. I think they have valid claims as to why they are now thinking twice. Is it a good time to really switch into the tech space?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I will say is, in the first place, if you are new and trying to get into tech, chances are you are not going to be in competition with most of the people who have been laid off.
Yeah.
Because most of them are highly experienced and you are not going to be in a competition with them. So let's drill down to the basics. Let's say you are targeting, let's say, a $2,000 role at the moment, and they were taking huge bags, right?
Yeah.
They are not going to be interested in that, and you are most likely going for a junior role, and they are not looking into that space at all. They are looking at where the experience that they've had already will come in handy. So you are not really in a competition.
Yeah.
And if you've been in the space for quite a while,
Yeah.
and they are getting laid off like that, I don't think it's going to be tough in the market space as people think. Because if you are vying for the same role with these people who are also coming, remember that working for big tech is different from working for startups and then medium. It's a whole different arena. First of all, let's go with the work that they normally do in these big tech corporations. So, for instance, let's say if someone is a backend engineer, normally he's restricted specifically to a certain portion
component or a certain domain.
Exactly. Yeah. So, if let's say he's in charge of, let's say, verification. Let's say someone is working at Twitter. He's in charge of verification at the backend. He's doing only that many a time.
Yeah.
But for someone who has worked in, let's say, a startup, so for instance, in some of the startups that I was working, I would say I'm a backend engineer, but at the end of the day, I was not only working on backend.
Yeah.
You'll be working on front end, you'll be doing DevOps. So when you are, let's say, vying for a role like that, your position will come in handy because yes, you are a backend, or let's say you are a mobile, but you are also very dynamic. You are not restricted to just
a certain domain.
Exactly. So you are going to provide more value
than someone who is just scoped to something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's one way to look at it. And also, you see, let's say you are now vying for the position of this person. This person, many a time, you see, they are very good engineers, and and you see, they have interviewing in itself. It's a different skill.
Like, it's a skill.
You could be very good, but at the end of the day, the skill required to interview for another company, maybe he's used to the big tech and how they do it. You see, normally they have their own ways of doing it. Yes.
Those kind of things,
So you and him being in the same situation, remember that once you are battling with him for that role, you are also of a certain standard.
Yeah.
So you can't just sell
It
yourself
wouldn't
short.
be that. Yeah.
To me, it's a big opportunity because I know some guy just recently whilst there were layoffs in that same week, he got a 20% new role and
Oh,
it comes with
yeah.
20% increase
Increment
in.
in his benefits. Okay.
Yes. So you see, as people are also getting fired,
Some are also
some are
getting
also getting
elevated.
hired
Yeah.
and getting new roles,
Yeah.
better roles. So it's not, yeah, it's messy, but at the end of the day, it also
But like the
brings
more
up
I
more
think of it, it's
opportunities.
really scary because I was reading the article from is it Coinbase, and Coinbase alone, wait, it was something crunch. Oh, TechCrunch maybe.
TechCrunch, okay.
And then companies like even Netflix had layoffs, even Coinbase had layoffs. So like it made me think for a moment, like is it a global economic crisis that's leading to these actions, or like where is the tech ecosystem getting to? Is it that they don't need that much workforce anymore?
I think you see someone like Zuckerberg was very frank that actually in our tech spaces, you see, there's a lot of it came to a point for some companies they were doing a lot of overstaffing.
Overstaffing. Okay, okay.
So, for instance, for Mark Zuckerberg like this, he mentioned that I mean they had hired a lot,
A lot.
and I think he has new ambition now. You see, he's now trying to go into the
The
metaverse,
company is going to a
whatever.
new direction.
So they are trying to
Yeah.
do a downsizing. So one thing people also don't mention is, I mean, it comes with benefits that
Uh-huh.
nobody is really mentioning that. But you see, Elon Musk mentioned that for Twitter alone, I think they are getting about 3 months severance package.
Yeah.
And then I think for those who are going to get their stocks vested or whatever, I think they're also going to have some extra benefits. So far as your skills are in demand, yes,
There's a
it's
value
it's
of
not
it.
a good news.
Yeah,
It's not a
but
good news, but
there is some light in the
yes,
tunnel.
there's some light over there.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not get a new role immediately, but there's still more opportunities. You are going to get it eventually. Maximum 3 6 months, you will get another one.
But how often do these layoffs happen in these big tech spaces?
I think the last one, there was the dot-com bubble. Okay, I wouldn't say that at that time. I wouldn't say I saw what was going on. I've just read what went on.
Yeah.
I don't think at that time I was even in. I was a small boy, so I wouldn't know whatever was happening back then. Wait, when did that happen? Actually,
Well, it's not like I just read. I don't really keep tab of the
yeah. I don't have the
timelines.
details
Yeah.
either, so I don't know if I was even born by then.
Yeah.
But what I learned was that I mean, it was also just like what is happening now.
Now, yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, tech was still booming. It's about, you see, demand and supply.
Yeah.
There's still going to be services which are required. There's still going to be let's say new apps which needs to be built.
New ideas and all
Good.
that stuff.
And one thing we should also remember is that in an era like this, some companies are still hiring. Why? Because now there are some companies who cannot survive this because what they are working on is really not a need like that.
Yeah.
There's one company I know, one guy is also working there. So it's more of a learning platform. It's like a boring company. They've
Yeah.
been there since 1997. They are in the US. What they are working on doesn't sound so futuristic.
Yeah.
So they are helping students in school get a self-learning platform. They use it for their exams and everything. It sounds very boring.
That's a problem that's been solved many, many, many times.
Good. It sounds boring, but they are making a lot of money. And now that there's hiring freezes here and
Yeah.
there, they are still hiring.
Whoa.
And so opportunities are still opening up there. You get it? So in this era, there are going to be a lot of startups who are not doing work that is really relevant. They are
Yeah.
going to be blown away. And
Yeah.
so those who are really doing things that are necessary are actually going to, how will I say it? They are going to get bigger.
Yeah.
They are going to do more hires.
Actually, the article was from Crunchbase, and then
Okay, you saw it.
They made this funny mention. They were like, companies, especially those Web3 idealistic startups, most of them were closing up and like stuffs, and people were running into losses. And I was just asking, like how often do we see these things? And as someone who is job hunting, are there signs I could possibly see, like, because imagine having to join a company like Twitter. There were some Ghanaian folks who had roles in Twitter, like the Twitter Africa thing, and it was happy. It made the ecosystem happy. Like, okay, there's finally some hope.
Some people,
that local talents can get through these funnels into those bigger places. And then all of a sudden, let's say 4 days after they opened your office here in Ghana, and then they tell you that, oh, everything has been dissolved. You no longer have even access to your work laptop. You've been locked out of everything. Like, I can imagine how that will hit me.
Yeah.
Especially when I've already made plans for my first salary or my second salary, how I'm going to support my family.
Yeah.
And it hits like that. And there were also rumors that there are not going to be any severance package. And like things like
really?
that. Yeah, like the thing was really brutal. I was reading it on the Twitter.
Wow. Is it for the African
timelines?
section?
Yeah. It was even on, I think it was is this CNN? One of these news stations was talking about the fact that there wasn't going to be any severance for.
Hey, then that's wild.
And and the fact that they had closed the offices just like few days after just launching it or opening. Exactly. So like me as an engineer, like certain companies I would like to work for, like, are there any signs I could tell, like, okay, this company could possibly, like, maybe they are not financially balanced, or their idea minds weight of, or their investors might pull out that.
I think, I get your question. How can you foresee these things?
Is there
happening?
Any chance I could foresee?
For me personally, I wouldn't be obsessed with foreseeing. I think I'll be more obsessed with my skills.
Okay.
Because I think at the end of the day, it's my skills which is going to keep me on the market, not the company I'm joining. So that's why for me, like this, like I always say, I'm a businessman. Yes, I invest in my craft every day, as much as possible, whichever company I am with. As I'm working with them, I am there to create value for you. Because if I'm not creating value for you, I don't see why I should be there. So far as I'm creating value for you, I need to get paid and get paid very well. So once I am creating that value for you, and I'm also investing in my skills, I am not emotionally attached to the company. I'm not emotionally attached
just only
to
there
any
to
company.
deliver your services as a business. And get paid.
And that's how I feel people should approach this. You are there to create value. So as much as you are doing that, you are making sure that the company is getting a lot of value from you. Because if they are getting a lot of value from you, then it means that they also don't have a problem giving you, paying for that, right? Because you are bringing them results. So as I'm bringing them results, we are having a business deal over there. Yes, some may say it's a family, whatever, but then at the end of the day, we are exchanging services. And I'm not attached emotionally to any company. So if tomorrow we happen to fall out, there's no hard feelings.
Exactly.
I need to move on. And it's my skills. That's why I always believe in that.
Back on the job market.
It's my skills that will put me back on the job market. What happens is that what I've seen most people happen to most people is that they become so emotionally attached to whatever company they are working with. And so in the wake of something like this, it totally shatters them. So sometimes they were in a company, and I mean, there were some things they knew they had to do. So for instance, I'm a backend engineer. Let's say currently my company, we are not using AWS. However, I've seen that the market trend
is going towards
that end. And now, just because where I'm working, we don't use it, I decide to just
relax and be chill.
Good. And now I'm hit with this. Now my skills, although good, yes, I'm rusty. And I've not invested in myself. So now going to the job market, they ask you, okay, can you use EKS?
And you're like, you only know Heroku.
Come on. It's good. What you know is good. But you see, the market trend is going somewhere. So you need to also keep up with it.
Yeah.
There's this thing that Kwesi Datsun was talking about, that he tries to get onto the job market and sometimes interviewing just to see that he's relevant on the market. Because what happens is, if you become too comfortable. With the company that you're working with, that's good. It's good to get comfortable, but you also need to understand that anything can happen.
Waking up to a lady without makeup.
Anything can happen at any time.
Yeah.
Once you have that, and you know that when something bad, we are not saying anything bad should happen, but that's the reality on the ground.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So now, if that thing happens, what are you going to fall on? It's your skills. There are people still hiring every day. That's the good thing with this tech space, right? There are people who are still hiring consistently. But however, you need to be relevant to them. Yes, you are a back-end engineer. You do, let's say, Node or whatever. But there are certain other things they require. You have them, or you are only attached to whatever your company was doing, and you didn't try to widen your territory. So now it becomes hard for them to hire you. Although, I mean, you have some experience, but maybe they are using some new.
It's only within that company. Once you get out of there, it feels like,
are your skills going to be relevant on the job market? You need to be asking yourself that.
Versatile and
yes, because if you leave this company, are the skills that you have currently, is it going to be necessary in any other? You know, some people are doing software, and I remember some time ago they were doing Oracle development.
Java.
Yeah, it's cool, right? It's cool. But at the end of the day, now if you are leaving that company, how many companies
do that
are in need of that skill? So yes, the company you are at, those skills are necessary there. But beyond that, you need to ask yourself, am I investing in myself in such a way that I will be relevant outside my current company?
Yeah.
Because some of these tech layoffs, you can't really tell. Because to be honest, I never suspected anyone joining Twitter to have this experience.
Yeah.
However, Elon Musk also, I think he had been giving signs. So some of the people there, I'm sure they knew, because before he even acquired it, he was talking about.
Yeah, probably people in the inner chambers knew.
Yes, I felt they knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Because Elon Musk was talking about, and then the first day that he was coming in, he fired, what's the name, Parag,
the CEO,
the top guys. They fired him. So who are you?
Yeah.
You should know that. I mean, anything can happen.
But like, that's really some big move. Like, imagine getting into a company and the first person you kick out is the CEO. Then, like, that just puts some amount of fear in everyone else. Like, you just kicked out the CEO.
That's correct. The CEO, the topmost on the highest hierarchy. Yeah. He has kicked him out.
That's a big chess move. Like,
yeah. He was making a statement, but I mean, at the end of the day, he has bought it.
It's business.
It's business. It's business, exactly.
Yeah. No hard feelings.
No hard feelings. Yeah. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's painful. If I was on the receiving end, I would not be happy.
Yeah.
That's, to be honest. However, for me, I don't think anything
it's
personal.
Business. Like,
it's business.
Yeah.
So now I need to find a place where my skills will be relevant. That's all. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
It's very painful if you're on the receiving end.
Because there was some outrage from folks in Nigeria. You know, Nigerians are typically known for like relocating after they get these nice offers to Twitter and Microsoft. We've been seeing those YouTube videos where they tell you relocating to the Netherlands and cool. And imagine having got an offer in Twitter and then you relocated with your whole family, and your whole family is depending on you, and you probably squandered all your savings just going.
Yeah, because you know there's going to be a lot coming in.
To come.
Yeah,
and then they just cut your ass off like that and let you lose. Like, oh, bro, I can't imagine what that would look like for me. Like, oh no.
Yeah, I remember.
That's really huge.
I think Adam, he mentioned that he's thinking more about those people who are on work visa.
Exactly.
I think on work visa, one lady also quoted the tweet, and then she was like, "You have about 60 days to get a new job before your visa expires." So that's
That's like setting your ass on fire.
Yeah.
Like you have fire under your ass.
See, you came with all high hopes.
Oh.
And there's a high tendency to spend, especially when you know, you are going. There's going to be a lot coming in.
It's normal. Like,
so let's say your backup money somewhere. After all, there's going to be money coming in. Then you blow it, and then
blow it, and
you are
20th they cut you off when you know it's just 24th or maybe 26th. Salaries are supposed to drop. That's hot as hell. Like, see,
that's serious. And now you have 60 days
that's really serious
to find a new role. Otherwise, you have to come back.
You have to come back with your family and everything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's serious.
I just hope you see. So then it also comes back to your skills being relevant on the job market, because I mean, I've been seeing a lot of roles. I'm in Ghana, but come on, I've been seeing a lot of roles. For instance, when you go onto Indeed, there's a lot of roles for whatever you are doing. Just check, let's say in the last 3 days, what was posted. You see that there are a lot of roles, but you need to see the pattern, the things they are looking for.
Yeah.
So it's not about just being okay with wherever you're. It's good to be okay, but you have to be competitive on the job market.
Yeah.
You need to know what's going on and keep in sync with it.
Exactly.
That's the only way you can still remain relevant.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, these things can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we were not on the receiving end, but it could be us.
Exactly.
And for me personally, I'm always prepared for anything like that.
Anything.
Because I know anything can happen at any time. But at the end of the day, it's my skills which is going to launch me into a new role.
Yeah. And then lastly too, I wanted to ask you, so right now that we have this massive layoffs in the tech space, I'm already thinking that job search is going to be competitive, because imagine people who have like 15 years of experience or maybe 10 years of experience in a certain stack. I've seen some people from Twitter, and then they were like senior Android engineers.
Okay.
And usually if you hear someone as a senior Android engineer working in Twitter, those people usually have like Android. Android is not like backend where you can just major in like, let's say, microservices and maybe like e-commerce. Like they expect you to know everything about the Android and be able to just whip up things.
Everything.
It's only when you go into the company and then they decide to scope you to, let's say, accessibility, maybe user experience design, where like now your skills are all honed towards that direction.
Okay.
So imagine me just being someone who did native Android for like, let's say, 2 years. And then maybe I was writing Flutter the whole of the time. And then that same person is in the market space and they decide not to go start their own company and still be competing for the crumbs we have left. Like, I can imagine how that will be. So, like, do you have any advice, like, how should engineers, especially junior engineers, because they barely have no experience.
Yeah.
Like, you are just going there with, like, hopes, and the fact that you are able to impress your whoever is interviewing you to give you a chance.
I get you. I get you.
So, like, what would that look like?
Yeah. So, the scenario you are giving, let's say the person has, can we say he worked at Twitter? Give me, let's boil down to specifics.
Okay. So,
how many years? Give me
a senior Android engineer at Twitter. Let's just say 5 years.
5 years
but
of
just
experience.
Because he worked at Twitter. Now me, all my life I've worked at startups in Ghana.
Okay.
But then I can still compete on the international market space.
Okay.
I have that opportunity to apply.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's say I meet the same person on the interview. Like, I'm already thinking that.
Let's say you also have how many years of experience?
Well, let's just say I have 3.
Okay.
3. But then the idea was to use a complete beginner. But let's just use 3 for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, what would that look like?
Yeah, that's 3 years experience, and he has 5 years experience.
Yeah, working at Twitter, doing just Android.
Yeah, he has an advantage over you. Let's be honest.
Okay.
He has an advantage over you. But at the end of the day, it's in an interview, you can mess up or you can really excel. And remember, they are going to judge you based on your interview, not necessarily. Fine, your past history gives you an edge.
Some upper hand,
but at the end of the day, it's how you perform in the interview. That's how you are going to be judged. So I think that's also levels the playing field. I don't know if you are getting me.
Yeah.
Because let's say they expect like you said, they expect you to have deep Android experience. Like you should have the whole Android architecture. You should know much more details in that. And you are doing Flutter, so you are more. I think you know Android. You know a little
it's
of
just like you just
iOS.
know like shallow stuff.
So for that specific, you can make things work. But he has more deep experience there. So if the job role requires that, then he has an edge over you. Let's be honest. Unless he messes up during the interview. I mean, it also happens. You know, sometimes you can go into an interview, you messed up. You were just you yourself realize you messed up. So unless maybe they know your history and then they know that okay, you've been doing this. Someone who is doing the Flutter will still have an advantage over you if he is able to articulate his thoughts well and pass all the.
I think at a point in my career, you know, when Facebook had their messenger app.
Okay.
When it started, it didn't have. You see that chat bubble.
Yeah, the overlay.
You can make a chat as a bubble.
Yes, then you can be running other apps. You can just
be moving.
Yes, I remember that.
It's on the foreground, and other apps can be in the background.
Yeah.
Like I was an Android engineer, and then when the Messenger app came and they were able to implement that, I was thinking to myself, like, for Android, for an app to be running, like it must be visible, or even if it's in the full background self, like keeping an element. It's just like the way you have widgets.
Yeah.
So being able to do that thing means you have like very in-depth knowledge about how Android ecosystem works.
Yeah.
And finding ways around it. And it was Facebook that implemented that. So you can imagine an engineer who's been at Facebook implementing that, and me who is just here, all I know is, okay, let me make API calls, pull a JSON data, marshal it, display things, and then we ship to market. Imagine me in the same space with this person. Like, that's going to be brutal.
Unfortunately, in that scenario, I mean, he has an edge over you.
Yeah.
So unless he really messed up in the interview, because it's obvious he has an edge over you, because you are experienced, but you are not as experienced as he is. So if you are all interviewing for the same role, chances are he will get that. But the good news is it's not only one role on the market. That's what I believe. It's not one role. It's not like it's just one sitting there. It's a lot of So if that doesn't work, you try a different one. Because I think everyone has an opportunity to eat. Everybody will eat in the system. It doesn't have to be from one single place.
Anyways, this is going to be the last one. The last time you mentioned you were an enterprise engineer, and then the whole thing went off to Twitter, and people were dragging you left and right about what they think should be an enterprise engineer. Like, if you can just have your say and just like wrap up on that, because some people were saying that your arguments were. I think you mentioned that you an enterprise backend engineer means a backend engineer who works in a company that has big budgets, right?
Yes.
And then people were not in agreement.
And people don't have to agree to everything.
Okay.
That's what makes the conversation exciting.
Very
because if we are all agreeing on the same thing, I think there
won't be any variety.
Yes, there wouldn't even be any conversation in the first place, because we all agree on the same thing. We don't have to agree on the same thing. The divergent opinions is really necessary for us to all move.
And I also see you are big on like crypto and this forex stuff. And I recently heard, like, I don't know if I should call it the biggest scam I've seen in crypto now. But I saw Elon Musk drop this funny. It's a meme, and it was like, man, 5 million people at the same time. And like, I was just thinking to myself, like this is huge, because like, can imagine how some niche of people are very crypto, and they think, I don't know how they're able to rationalize like pushing a sizable amount of their net worth or their money into that space, and they deem it safe. Meanwhile, from what I've read, I know crypto is unregulated for the most part. Maybe they might have some particular services in there that are regulated, but the exchange, we know it's all just on.
So you see, so he wanted to invest. He said he wanted to do some blockchain, whatever, social. And then Elon Musk just called him out. No, that's not possible. The number of transactions.
He probably saw something like this coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think For me personally, fried money. Yeah. So personally, I feel he envisaged all of this and he planned all of this. I could be wrong though. It's just currently what I'm doing is called speculation. I don't have the facts, but I believe he really planned this whole thing, orchestrated it, and now he said he filed for bankruptcy. And
whoa,
I feel there's nothing going to come out of it because this guy did it first. Do Kwon, that's the Luna founder, and then it's something which was around I think $95 at the peak, and now it came crashing to 0.0000.
Oh,
imagine you bought something at $95 a piece, and let's say you invested, let's say $10,000. Now in one day,
I would arrest you.
One, how are you going to arrest him?
No, if I had my way, I would arrest
you. Had your way, but do they have their way? Nothing really happened. They said he's wanted here, he's wanted there. The guy is still there. What happened?
Nothing.
Yeah, and I feel this is going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
This guy, Charlie, he has what, and the problem with this is that it causes a lot of low belief in the whole crypto
thing.
ecosystem. So when things like this happens, people do panic selling, and so it affects the whole market.
Yeah.
So whether it's Bitcoin, now people consider, hey, nothing is really assured.
Yeah.
So they have to take out their money. But at the end of the day, it's for people who don't understand what's going on. For instance, they are just doing it. They don't even understand how they can keep their own funds. They are just allowing their money to be on exchanges. You see, when you really started not long, you don't understand the whole thing yet. You don't understand the concept of you can have your own keys to your storage, so no one can just say. They don't understand that yet. So that's why it makes them panic in moments like this. So if you understand what's going on, you know that, okay, for my trading money or whatever, I don't keep that on the exchanges. I keep that personally. So I just push what I want to trade with on the exchanges. So at the end of the day, the bulk of my money is not sitting on, let's say, Binance.
Some exchange somewhere.
Yes. So fine. If anything even happens, I still have full access to my major funds. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. Anyways, it's been nice. It's been nice having you on this conversation, and I hope we get to talk really in depth about this crypto, because I see you are really a crypto enthusiast, and I see your tweets, and I just feel like really I could maybe turn my $1,000 into maybe $10,000 if I make a really close friend of mine. But I guess we'd get to have that conversation. So thanks for your time, and then guys, thanks you for watching. Thank you for watching, and this is the Comrades podcast. Bye.